everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Liliana, and on this channel we discuss history and literature related topics, so make sure to stick around and subscribe if that interests you. In today's video, I am going to be talking about something that I struggled with when I first came to university as a history major, and this is which websites to use for sources of any sort. So history classes in high school, mostly we would be given a set of readings by the professor and we would comment on them, or we would specifically be told to argue about a certain topic. So in high school, generally we were told what to write about and we were given sources to use. College is quite different. In college, you have your class on whatever subject, and at least in my experience, towards the end of the semester, the professor is like, well, you can talk about anything in this class. One example, for me at least, was when I took East Asian Civ 1, and our professor was like, yeah, so you guys can write about anything that happened in the region of East Asia, from like the 400s all the way up to the 1400s. Obviously, that gives you a lot to work with, and it can be really hard to figure out what you want to write about. So I hope that this video will make things a little bit easier for you in finding sources and finding information about your topic, whatever it may be. Let me know in the comments if you guys want me to make a video about how to find a research topic. So let's get started. So in this video, I'm just basically going to be giving you 5 websites that you can use to find information on your research topic. So with all of that having been said, let's get started. Okay, so the first website that I'm going to be talking about is literally a lifesaver. I'm sure most of you have heard of it, but if not, let me tell you about it. This website is called Jstor, and basically what you can do is you can look up articles on literally anything and they will come up. Jstor is just basically a database where you can access scholarly articles, and by scholarly articles I mean articles written by people with doctorates, PhDs, experts in their field. And you just basically get access to all of these published journals and articles. And you can use them as a source for your research papers, and they are reliable because they are written by experts in the field. And depending on how big your field is or how much your professor networks, it is possible that your professor might even know the person you're quoting. So let's go to Jstor. You can usually find Jstor on your university library's website. They might have a tab that's called Articles and Databases, and you can go there and it gives you a list of all of the articles and databases that your university offers you. And what I mean by that is Jstor isn't free. However, my university gives all students access to Jstor. They pay for us to have access to it, as well as access to a number of other databases. So you're always going to want to check your university library's website first, because they probably have a good amount of free stuff for you to use as a student with your student email, and you don't have to pay for it. You can get access to all of this wonderful information, like Jstor. So here I am in Jstor. I am logged into my student account, and I am going to look up an article and see what comes up. For this, for this video, I'm just basically going to be looking up articles for topics that I've already written about, just because I know they're there, so I know which ones to click on. As you can see, I'm typing up Maoist theater here in the search box, because I wrote a paper last semester about theater and plays under Maoist China. So as you can see here, I have found this article on revolutionary illumination, stage, lighting, politics, and play in 1930s Shanghai theater. And like I said before, I used this article and an article like this one for my paper on theater in China under the leadership of Mao Zedong. So you can look up literally any topic in Jstor. As you can see right here, I have a number of topics that I've researched over the last 2 semesters, and it's always helped me. Jstor is great. Jstor has information on literally anything. The next 2 databases that I want to talk about are pretty similar They are Google Books and Wikipedia. Now I know professors always say that you can't use Wikipedia, but you can. In fact, I have a professor that encourages it greatly. So let's go take a look on how you can use Wikipedia constructively without running the risk of having false information. So here we are on the page where I found most of my information for this paper, Revolutionary Opera. So to start off with writing my paper, I was really unsure how to get it started, what to write about. I just knew that I wanted to write about Chinese theater. So I went on to here, to the Wikipedia page of Chinese Revolutionary Opera, and I read this article and I was like, wow, there's some good information here, but I can't really cite it because it's Wikipedia, and I'm gonna look dumb if I cite Wikipedia and I'll probably get points docked. So what I did was I went to whatever it was that I was talking about, for example, this paragraph right here, and I want to use this quote, but I found it on Wikipedia and I can't say I used Wikipedia. They have a citation right here, number 1. So I'll click on that and I will see that that is right here. However, there isn't really a link to this article or whatever it is. So what I'm going to do instead is copy paste, oh my gosh, okay. So what I'm going to do instead is copy paste that title right here into Google and see what comes up. And yes, here we are. We have Google Books right here. So I'm just going to click on that. And now I have access to the book. I click on the title and here it is. But obviously, because Google Books is something that you pay for, you have to purchase the book in PDF format on Google. Obviously, I'm not going to do that. They only give you a couple of free pages to preview. And as you can see right here, like a bunch of pages are cut out in between because they only give you like 20 pages to preview. But one way you can get around this is you do a word search right here on the side. So for example, I'm going to look up Mao. And then I have here the 8 results where Mao has showed up in this book. And most of these pages are probably redacted from the book on Google Books, but it still comes up in a word search. So I'm going to click on this page, and then there I have it, and I have all of the subsequent pages. And then you can collect the quote, you can find out what page it's on without having to buy the book because you can preview it in Google Books. And you get all of that from Wikipedia. Use Wikipedia, use all of the notes and references here at the bottom of Wikipedia because they're very good. They're usually quite reliable, and you can get a lot of information from them, even more than you can get from the Wikipedia article itself. So let's go on to the 4th source. The 4th source is my personal favorite. I love this so much. I used this source for my previous video on how to turn yourself into a museum picture, and it's literally one of my favorite apps in the world, and that is Google Arts and Culture. They have artwork like paintings, they have artifacts, I think they have letters, they have little interactive games and articles that you can play to learn more about whatever it is that you're looking up. And this is the best part in my opinion. Some museums that Google Arts and Culture works with, they have a kind of a 3D tour kind of thing. Basically, use your phone as a pair of virtual reality glasses and you can walk through the galleries of the museum, even though you're just only walking through your house or the street outside or wherever you are, and you can see the museum. You have, for example, this article here, 12 secrets you might not know about Vermeer. You can read this article about him and his work, things that you didn't know about him. You can also look at 360-degree videos. You can have an art camera, all of this stuff that it says right here. You can also search. This is super helpful for when you're writing a paper. You can search by categories. So if you're writing a paper about art from a paper about a certain time period or a certain country during a certain time period or a certain artistic movement, then you can look that up and you can get just a long list of curated artworks based on whatever your search terms are. The website is really cool, but I personally think that it is way better in the app. The last database that I'm going to talk about is only applicable into the US, but I'm pretty sure that other countries have something like this too. So I'm going to go to my university's library page. I'm already on there, and I'm going to go to N, and I'm going to scroll down here to newspaper archives, and you can see we have access to the New York Times, historical, newspaper archives, newspaper sources. So here we have the United States. So this website, basically what it does, it has an archive of I think all newspapers that have been published in the United States since like 1800. So let's say I'm going to write about, again, I'm going to use something I've already written about before. I'm going to write about the Grand Canyon in Arizona. So I click on Arizona, and then, and then I click on the county that I want, because if I'm writing about the Grand Canyon, that's in Flagstaff County. And so here I am in the county, 1883 to 2020. I'm going to click on the Arizona Daily Sun. So now we can see here we have all of the newspapers that make reference to Indian ruins in the Grand Canyon that obviously come from newspapers in Arizona, because the Grand Canyon is in Arizona. Some of these are duplicates. For example, these are both from June 8th, 1923. So instead of 1,711 results, I have around 855 results. And so I'm just going to click on this first one right here. So obviously I don't have my glasses on, so I can't see, but somewhere on this page or on the other 4 pages, the words Indian Ruin or Grand Canyon are highlighted in yellow. And so then obviously I would just click on whatever page it's on, and I would look it up, and I would read the information from the article from 1923. Click on that page, I'm going to read the article, I'm going to quote the article, and it'll count as a primary source, especially if I'm writing about archaeological discoveries in Arizona in the 1920s. So then that's another way you can do research. You can obviously look up whatever it is that you're researching about in a newspaper from that country, from that time period, if it's relatively recent, of course. And that is all for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and found it helpful. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and comment below what other resources you use to write your research papers. Thanks again. Bye!